What's up, everybody? Laura Sanko here. As always, I'm joined by Dean Thomas, who's big time in it now. Real big, 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 big. On, wait, I gotta make sure. I gotta make this small so I can see I'm showing everybody. Oh, he on Paramount Plus.
Well, Paramount Plus, I am. Listen, the only thing I will say is I am a handsome fellow.
You
That's how
are a
I'll say
handsome
that.
fella.
I give
That's,
myself that. But I'm still a goon. I'm still a thug.
look at that group. Look at that group, though.
The
Like
group is
full of
solid.
goons and thugs. I love it. I
The
love
group
it.
is
Yeah.
solid.
Deep Waters, Mondays, Paramount Plus, as well as YouTube, guys. Check it out. So I'm glad that we get to keep your mind on this on our show as well. So
Well,
thank you.
no, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'm not going to not be with you for nothing.
Oh,
I don't know if
pal.
that makes sense, but I'm not going to not be with you for nothing.
Oh, I don't. There's a double negative in there, so I'm not sure what that means, but it seems really sweet.
Trust me, it came from the heart.
Okay, thank you. Well, guys, we have, oh my gosh, what a fight do we have to talk about this time? This is one I think that unanimously everyone is pretty excited for it. And of course, we're talking about the main event, UFC 328, going down in Newark, New Jersey. Number 3 ranked middleweight versus the champ, Khamzat Chimaev, for the middleweight title. And this one is gonna be crazy. Dean, first of all, I always go to you with the big giant thoughts first. Okay, when this fight was announced, both these guys are coming off like insanely dominant wins, right? Chimaev absolutely mollywopped DDP, and Sean, not that long ago, had a master class against Fluffy Hernandez. But should this have been Nasruddin Imavov, or is this the right fight? Are we where we should be?
No, this is the right fight.
I agree.
This is the right fight for sure, and I understand where these guys are coming from. They're like, "Oh, I did this, I did that, I deserve a title shot." Listen, you don't just. No one deserves anything. Like you get what you get, and
Hmm.
if you deserved it, they would have given it to you. So you clearly didn't deserve it because you are not in control over what you feel like you deserve. Now, if I'm Imavov, I would have probably taken another fight because you need to stay relevant, and that's the thing. Like you can't hold on to your wins. Sometimes it works out when there's no one else, but the fact that there was someone else in Sean Strickland, this is the right fight to make. So Imavov can't be upset about the fact that he got passed up for this. His win just was, I mean, he beat who Kyle Bahayo, and that was in Paris last September.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. We forgot about that. So you got to understand that when they're making these matchups, they're looking for the most exciting matchup that's going to fill up the arena. Sean Strickland is going to fill up the arena, not only because he's Sean Strickland, but because of that performance he put on against Fluffy.
100%. If that performance had not been what it was, I don't think Sean would have gotten this opportunity necessarily. At least he would not have been the most obvious choice.
Right.
That performance plus all of the beef. I mean, we've got a freaking deli of beef between these two that we're going to talk about here in a second. Before we get into the stats, guys, please click like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, all the stuff that people ask you to do on YouTube to help us out so we can feed our children. Those nice things. All right, let me run through some of the stats because they get kind of interesting. And I got real nerdy on this one, Dean. I spent
Please
some
do.
time.
Please do. It's
So I'll
relevant.
read out the regular stats, but then we're going to get into some nitty gritty. All right, so Khamzat Chimaev, 31 years old. Sean Strickland, 35. Chimaev, 15-0. No one has beaten him. Sean Strickland, just his UFC record, is 17-7. Let's see here. Chimaev, 6'2". Strickland is 6'1". 75 inches for Chimaev, 76 for Sean. So really basically the same size. Strikes landed per minute, 4 for Chimaev, 6.04 for Sean. Striking accuracy, 60 for Chimaev, 42% for Sean, but that's because Sean's throwing a lot more, I think. Strikes absorbed per minute, 2.32 for Chimaev. Remember how he went like 4 fights absorbing one
Yeah,
or
it
two
was
shots?
one punch,
Insane. It's
and
insane.
you couldn't even remember what that one punch was.
No
Yeah.
one knew. And then 4.57 for Sean. Striking defense for Chimaev is 43%, 60% for Sean, which is super impressive considering where he stands.
Yeah.
Takedowns per 15 minute, this is all we're going to be talking about. 5.29 for Chimaev, 0.71 for Sean. Takedown accuracy for Chimaev, 55%, which is honestly so crazy to have that accuracy and that high of an average. Because normally, like Merab's accuracy, for instance, is only like, I want to say 30%.
Yeah.
Because he's just constantly reshooting and chaining. Basically, this is saying when Chimaev wants to take you down, he's going to get you down most of the time.
I mean, when you look at his takedowns, he don't miss.
He doesn't. Takedown accuracy for Sean, 64%. Takedown defense, 85% for Chimaev. Who tried to take him down?
Gilbert Burns did.
Oh, that's right. And he did once, didn't he? Or no, DDP did once. One.
Yeah.
And then takedown defense for Sean, 76%. And I have the stat on that, which I'll get to in a second, has been a lot have been attempted on him. Submission average per 15 minutes, 1.8 for Chimaev and 0.2 for Sean. So that's the basic bare bones stats we're talking about. I'd like to start with Chimaev.
Okay.
There is something about him, and this is not it's not a Shavkat moment, okay? But he's got a different type of aura. It's scary. Like
is.
That maniacal, almost evil smile that he gets when he starts a fight, I think is absolutely terrifying. And his aura, I feel like, is one of his better weapons in most of his fights. And I don't know that it will be in this one, but it is ever present.
Well, it's very mysterious how when he gets down low and he's looking at you from the top of his eyes and he's got that smile on his face.
Like, ah.
Yeah, it's very dangerous, and there's a mystery about it that you know what's coming, but you don't want to know what's coming because it's not going to be good.
No.
And he is extremely efficient at everything that he does. That's the one thing. Like, he's really mastered his body and the strongest weapons that his body can use in a fight. Yeah. So he's able to really execute almost to the T everything that he wants to do. Like, he wants a takedown, he gets a takedown. He wants to punch you, he punches you. He wants to kick you, he kicks you. And he's really good about that. But his aura as well. And I think one of the coldest moments that I can recall in a fight is when he fought Gilbert Burns, and he's sitting on top of the cage with Darren Till, and they're just sitting on there, smiling, waiting for Gilbert Burns to come out. That has to be one of my favorite moments prior to a fight ever.
Yeah. When we do the weigh-in shows, we do these rent-free moments, which is like exactly what you just described, just a moment that lives rent-free, and 100% that's going to be mine if I can get to it first, because we'd never seen that before or since. It's
like who does that? Like, no, I didn't even, that wasn't even a thing.
I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know that was on the menu.
I know, right? You're like, well, what is happening here? You're allowed to do that? Yeah.
Obviously, the majority of what we're going to be talking about is the grappling, whether Sean can stop it, whether Chimaev can continue to do it for 5 rounds. And I wanted to look into some of the specific stats. So here's what I came up with. All right, Chimaev has landed 26 takedowns in 9 fights, 12 versus DDP alone in that last fight. The only one where he didn't land a takedown was versus Gerald Meerschaert, where he knocked him out in 15 seconds, whatever it was. And he has been taken down one time by DDP. It was kind of a hip toss, like they were in a bit of a dogfight situation. Chimaev was in the middle of taking him down, and DDP got the reversal, so good on him. But it's not like someone shot a double on him. And
right. Yeah.
This is what was crazy because we do these videos so far in advance, we don't get the advanced stats, so I had to be my own advanced stats. I went through and calculated his control time. And it says, here's the thing, on the stats, if you go to UFC stats, which I spent a lot of time there, it says he's got 62% control time. I think that's wrong because they actually still have, who's the heavyweight that just got cut that was always laying on people? Almeida.
Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, they still had Jailton Almeida in the list. So I'm like, this list is old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I calculated 70%. He has 48 minutes and 31 seconds of control time in 9 fights. And most of those fights didn't go very long.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy to think.
Absolutely crazy.
Well, like I said, he has mastered the use of his body in terms of how he navigates through situations. He floats when he needs to float. He puts pressure when he needs to pressure. He does what he needs to do, and it's all based on the foundation of his grip fighting. His hand fighting his hands are always in the right place. So it's rarely ever where you catch him slipping where he doesn't have a grip around your legs when he needs that, or around your body when he needs it, or in on the hips when he needs it. And then when he gets on top of you, he's got such good control. He uses his length well, where he can control your top half with his bottom, with his top half and his bottom half. So like he does a really good job of just controlling everything using his length. And he's hard to get away from. And when you start to get space, he just gives you a little bit of space, regrips, and you're right back into the fire. Like you think you're getting out, he just regrips and you're right back into the fire.
It was crazy watching what he did to DDP. Although the takeaway from that fight was that he should have done more damage. I'm sure Dean was going absolutely crazy.
Well, no, you know how critical I am of that. And it's working, though. It's working. And Laura, I'm telling you this, I'm critical because I want the game to evolve. And it has because of my critique, my personal critique. And I can prove it to you because Aljamain Sterling, no one has been more critical of Aljamain Sterling. When he lost to Evloev, I was so mad at him for not doing more damage. And now if you saw his last fight, what he did to Youssef Zalal, damage. And I said, Aljamain, that's my guy right there. We need to do more damage. Now, I'm very critical of Khamzat Chimaev. You got to be a little bit more damaging, a little bit more threatening in these positions. Like you got so much control time, but it's time to hurt people. I think in order for him to beat Sean, he's got to hurt him at some point.
I completely agree. And I think we're going to see that, though, because I would imagine that after that last fight, there's no way it doesn't register to him that that's not what people are. You had to do it to win the championship, but like to become truly great, to become considered truly great and maintain maintain the belt, you have to do damage. You have to do damage.
Like you will rule. Like if he wins this fight the same way he beat DDP, like his reputation will be severely scarred. Like
the aura starts to go away. Yes,
the aura will go away. Like people are going to be like, yo, I don't want to fight him, or he's so boring. Like it'll really ruin his reputation. And the first time he loses, we're going to see a very similar situation to like Ankalaev.
Well, Johnson Almeida got cut.
Tell me, exactly. They're cutting guys,
And because of that exact same thing, he was getting guys down and just would not do anything with. It was actually really fascinating, Dean, because fighter meetings for his last performance, right? The performance, and I'm forgetting who it was, but the performance previous to that was another fight where it's like he got him down. It was Volkov, I think, and. We were trying to be relatively sensitive when you ask fighters questions in fighter meetings, but we basically were like, you have to do something differently. Like, what are you going to do? And he admitted that he really had a hard time taking the risk of doing damage, even when he was in these incredibly dominant positions. Like, he could not get himself to do it. And he said he'd worked on it and did a lot of mental work and did a lot of training, ground and pound on the bag and stuff. And then he went out and did the same thing. It was like a mental hurdle for him.
Well, it's a technical issue, regardless of what they say. I mean, it really is. It's a technical issue, and they don't know that they don't know it, right? Because it's more than just like when they say they work on it, it's more than just getting on top of a heavy bag or having somebody underneath you and throw. Like, it's really about being able to set up the good strikes and having techniques to do that without losing position, because that's the problem. And that's the problem that Khamzat's going to have with Strickland if he wants to go out and do damage. Because in order to do real damage, you need space. You can't be chest to chest. You need space. And anytime you give up space, you're running the risk of them getting out. And it's true. Like it'll when you're down there, you're afraid to give up space. You don't want them to get out. But you have to have a better technique of doing it. And most guys just don't have it.
It's the grips. And it's attacking, like you said earlier, it's attacking, 3 points at the same time and allowing yourself the right moment with just enough space to actually land significant damage. And you, sir, are the master at teaching that.
I've worked heavily on it, and I come And I think it's because I do come from an older style of jiu-jitsu. I come from the Carlson Gracie style of jiu-jitsu back when like Ricardo Arona and these guys were like, they were getting on top of guys in their guard and just beating them the hell up. And I mean, also too, and I came up watching guys like, Mark Kerr just beat guys up from in the guard, so, and I've worked a lot on creating more ways to do it. And I just know that most guys don't know how to do it. So like they have a hard time, and it manifests itself as a mental block, but it's really a technical, physical block because they just don't know how to do it.
Well, yeah, when you're on top and that part of your brain says it's not safe to that's because the reason it's not safe to open up and like create space to land an elbow or whatever is because you don't have enough control in the other points, and that is a technical issue.
Exactly, it's a technical issue. So, but it manifests itself in a mental issue because it's making them go, "No, I'm just going to hold them because I don't."
Yeah, I'll just wait for the next opportunity, and I'll just keep waiting for the next. Yeah. On the flip side, we've got Sean Strickland, who, this fight is takedowns versus takedown defense and get-ups, and Strickland has very, very good takedown defense. The only thing that I guess worries me to some extent, he did get taken down by DDP 6 times in their first fight. Now, he only got taken down once in their last one and once by Ambus Magomedov. I didn't count any of his takedowns at welterweight because that was like a whole different Sean Strickland. But this is the interesting thing. So been taken down 8 times, but they only accumulated 2 minutes and 36 seconds of control time. And that I thought was pretty promising for Sean's skill set in this fight. He has 76% takedown defense, and that means, and I looked into the stat, he's been attempted 49 times, and he has only been taken down 15 times. Now, that's throughout his career. That does include his welterweight takedowns. But 2 minutes and 36 seconds at middleweight is not very much. The guy is very good at getting up.
Yeah, but see, this is where it's going to be tricky for me to have full confidence in knowing that he can get up against a guy like Khamzat. I just don't think he can. In the way he does it, he gives up his back and things like that. I just don't think. And maybe he'll have a great system of doing it. I just don't think it will. I think that Gilbert Burns is the only person who really had what it took to do it, and that was use his grappling ability to keep Khamzat off of him.
Right. Yeah.
And I think later in the fight, it's a 5-round fight. So I do think later in the fight, he can use that system of giving up his back because I do think he can make Khamzat work hard enough. So, and that's also something that I wanted to suggest too, because, we've come to think that like Khamzat, he used to get tired. Now he doesn't get tired anymore. And I just want to revisit that and just say that, this whole cardio issue is all relative to how difficult something is for you. If it's difficult for like Khamzat didn't get really tired against DDP because it wasn't that difficult for him.
DDP did not know what to do.
It was easy for him. It was like sparring for him. So he didn't get tired. But if Sean Strickland can make Khamzat work harder on the takedowns, harder to keep him down, if he can use his guard and make him work, it'll be harder for him to hold him down. And then by the time like 4th, 5th round come around, he can use his standard get-ups and fight the grips better. But I just don't see him doing that early in the fight and being able to get up the way he has against other guys. Because normally he pops right back up.
When you watch the Usman fight and how Kamaru started to have a little bit more success 2nd and 3rd round in terms of fending off takedowns and forcing more of a striking battle, obviously a story can be said. Not only did he do that, but he did it on very short notice, up a weight class with really compromised knees and athleticism at this point in his career. Does that give you any hope as to whether Sean can kind of weather that early storm and then be able to do that to Khamzat?
Yeah, it does.
Khamzat's just at another level.
No, I think that gives me a lot of hope. I mean, even with the Usman fight, Khamzat did waste a lot of energy keeping him down, and he was kind of going ham on him. with some ground and pound. So it wasn't like he was just stalling on Usman the same way he did against DDP. So he wasn't really exerting a lot of energy against DDP. But against Usman, he exerted a lot more energy. I think that he thought he was going to get Usman out of there. He's thinking, okay, this guy's a welterweight. He's only known about this for a week. I'm going to get him out of here. And when he didn't get him out of there, I think it wore on him and it got him a little more tired than he had hoped to be. But it does give me hope because I still think that Khamzat just has an energy system about him that makes him a better sprinter than a long distance runner.
Yes.
And he can fake it. Like you can, like, just because you're a sprinter don't mean you can't run 2 miles at a good pace. But I think that if Strickland can force him into some more sprinting type moments, Khamzat has no choice but to fight hard and wear his energy system out.
Yeah. You go back to the Kevin Holland fight, and obviously it didn't last long, but just Kevin being squirrely like he was for a short period of time, never settling, just moving, rolling, grabbing, whatever he had to do to try to create scrambles. Obviously it didn't end well for him, but it felt like there's no way that Khamzat could have maintained that pace in a longer fight. Now, I don't know if Kevin could have either, but I've seen a lot of people saying that the Hernandez fight, is the perfect dress rehearsal, so to speak, for fighting Chimaev. And I get why on paper that might be true because you spend your whole camp, defending takedowns. But he didn't shoot.
Yeah,
Ever.
No, you're right. And to Sean's credit, he didn't allow him to shoot.
He didn't, but I don't know that.
But he won't do that to Khamzat.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
right.
Like I feel like Fluffy is a little bit more against the fence. I need to get a body lock and work from there. Khamzat will shoot from freaking 12 feet away at your shins. And remember when he shot at Robert Whitaker, who also has great takedown defense?
Yeah.
And he was like, I've never seen someone that size level change that deeply and then penetrate that far. It is crazy.
Well, and that's what makes him unique is because he stands so tall. Like he's really tall when he strikes, and he throws kicks from the outside. He stands really tall, and then he just shoots really low and fast, and you don't see it coming, which makes it very difficult for him, and it makes it very unique and hard to stop.
I don't think anybody else does it like that.
It's not the perfect dress rehearsal, but it's better than a different matchup.
True.
It's better. It's better than like Jared Cannonier.
It's Adesanya fighter. Whatever.
Right. Yeah. So, but it gives us some indication that he can deal with this, but again, I think that his jab has shown, like, if he can get that jab working, especially from where he throws it from, like he throws it from low and it comes up, so that can deter a shot a little bit. I don't think it's going to deter Khamzat early because Khamzat will shoot even under that.
Yes.
So he's gonna get taken down. I think this fight comes down to the mentality of Sean Strickland. Is he mad enough or motivated enough to go to put Khamzat through hell? That's what it comes down to. Because in order to be Khamzat, you got to put him through. You're not going to like outskill him. There's no one in the division that can outskill him. You got to put him through. You got to put him through a little bit of hell.
I think the fact that they've trained together, and this is such a fascinating thing, because you're getting two versions of, the same story and little leaks of information here and there, and it's hard to know what's real and what's not, but it is interesting that they spent so much time training together, and not just training together, but Sean, to some degree, was taking Khamzat under his wing a bit at that time, and come to Extreme Couture and, running the practices. And according to Sean, because obviously he admitted, he tapped me out, but it was in drills where we were working from bad situations. So he had my back, Of course, I'm not gonna go, crazy and not tap in those situations. I've heard though that, in general, Khamzat was getting the better of the grappling, but that Sean essentially made him quit in terms of just striking and overall output.
I believe
I don't
that.
know if it's
I
true,
believe that. No,
but I tend to believe it.
yeah, I believe that. I believe that. But again, like when there's no stakes on the line, it's easy for Khamzat to be like, nah, man, I'm done. I've had enough for today. I'm done. Okay, you got the better of me right now. The same way it was easy for Sean to tap in drills because there's nothing on the line.
Yeah.
And you're just in practice, and you're dealing with a guy like Sean Strickland, who's probably he's just so adamant about the way he practices, and like at some point you're just like, all right, dude, I've had enough.
Yeah.
You got it. All right, I've had enough. I'm going home. So I believe Khamzat probably had a little bit of that going on as well, but I'm intrigued by how it's going to look on Saturday.
I am too. Especially Khamzat. I'm still somewhat confused about how his camp is structured, but I know he's been in the States, out in California. I know he's been training a lot at the Jackson facility. I know he's been training a lot with Khalil Roundtree. I think there's a lot of Chechens over there with him. He's got like a team around him. I think they've been there for quite a while. So I'm fascinated. And from what I've heard, it's been like insanely intense, like just training like an absolute animal. So, oh God, hopefully he doesn't get injured.
Oh, could you imagine?
I shouldn't even say that.
Absolute, don't take it back. It'd be an absolute nightmare if he got injured. Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
That's not going to happen. Okay. What do you think? I'll give you two answers.
Okay.
What do you think this fight looks like one way, and what do you think this fight looks like another way?
I think this fight goes one of two ways, but I think it starts the same way. I think it starts, and I can see it in my head. Like I already envision myself sitting cage side, seeing this and hearing the crowd, where Khamzat runs across, takes Sean down. The crowd goes wild because Sean's on his back, and I see the first two rounds looking like that, like Sean getting taken down, struggling to get back up. But as it plays on, by the third round, Sean gets back to his feet, right? Like that's when it starts to turn. Sean gets back to his feet and the crowd goes, yeah. And then Khamzat starts struggling on takedowns, and then Sean starts coming back. And then, so one of two ways, I see it being really close. Like really close. Like Khamzat winning the first two rounds, Sean winning the third and the fourth, and then the fifth round coming down to like back and forth, and then he gets a takedown, and then he gets a reversal, and then it just comes down and looking like that.
Yeah.
I see it. I really do see it looking like that. That's one way. And then Khamzat wins because he just found his way at the end of the fifth to be on top.
And to do some damage.
Yeah. And doing a little bit of damage. Or I see it looking like this. It's still starting the same way, but in the third round, Sean takes over. Fourth and fifth round, Sean is completely in control, and Khamzat is just like in survival mode on the outside, taking bad shots, kind of skirting around, staying safe, not getting hit, but taking bad shots. And then Sean wins a decision that way, wins the last three rounds.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know where I sit in terms of how I actually think it's going to happen, but those are, I think probably the first is probably where I'm landing.
The first, yeah, like the potential of the first is higher than the second.
But the second is very much in play. Very much in play. I love that. I think because Sean has trained with him so much, doesn't mean that Sean's gonna like, oh, I'm gonna know how to defeat his double leg right off the bat. I do though think it takes some of that aura away. Like I think a lot of fighters, even though they say, oh yeah, he's just a man, whatever. He's been the boogeyman of this division, right? He's been the boogeyman of whatever division he's fighting in. I don't think he is to Sean. I really don't.
No, yeah, you're right. Of course not. And Sean wanted this fight. Like he wanted this fight. So like, of course not. But still, you still have to question which Sean is going to show up on Saturday night, because that guy is a bit unpredictable. And if the Sean that wanted him a couple of months ago shows up on Saturday night, option two might be very well the way this fight looks. Like Sean takes over and it's like, yo, I told you I was better than you. Or if for some reason Sean's just like, hey, it's whatever, I don't care, I'm a piece of crap anyway. I'm not supposed to win anyway. Like that Sean could show up on Saturday night and he just goes out there. And this is my issue with some of these guys like that who've been around a while. And Chris Curtis, his good buddy, did this when he fought Murderbeck Earlby. You get taken down and you're on the ground looking at the ref like,
yeah.
You gonna stand us up? You gonna stand like, dude, you knew this was gonna happen. And I can see that happening in this fight too, where it's like Sean's getting taken down, looking up at Herb Dean going, man, you gonna stand us up? Like, no, you knew this was gonna happen.
This is MMA.
Yeah, this was the highest probability of what could happen in a fight, and you weren't ready for it. Yeah. You can't rely on the ref to stand you up.
Do you think that, listen, we all know that this presser is going to be crazy. The whole week's going to be crazy. Do you think that the things that will be said, which I'm sure will be not good, will affect either of them in any significant way mentally? Like, is Khamzat an emotional enough guy to get pissed off when Sean starts talking about politics and calling him a Chechen whore and like all the stuff he says?
Yeah, I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I think that I don't think the stuff that Sean says is going to bother him. I think that Khamzat is such a really good competitor that he's going to be able to separate those things and just go out and do his job the way he's supposed to. I think he's probably has bigger issues in life than what Sean Strickland thinks about him or says about him. So I don't think that's going to bother him.
All right. Well, as usual, I'm going to force you to make a prediction.
All right. As I was watching the DDP fight against Khamzat, I said, man, Sean Strickland really might win. And I do believe that there's a chance he's going to win. I would give him a 40% chance of winning. But that still leaves 60% with Khamzat winning. Mm-hmm. And when it's all said and done, I think Khamzat, even though Sean Strickland has what it takes to be the better fighter, Khamzat's going to be the better competitor on Saturday night, because when he realizes that Sean Strickland can win a fight against him, he's going to compete.
Yeah.
And Sean Strickland won't be able to compete when Khamzat wants to compete and get a takedown. When he really needs a takedown, Khamzat's going to get that takedown. Yeah. So I am going to predict Khamzat wins by decision. And right. At the end of it, Sean Strickland will be complaining that all he wanted to do was wrestle.
Yeah. But we knew that.
Yeah, but he knew that. We knew that. He knew that. It was your job to be prepared for that.
Yeah. Yeah, his level of athleticism is just insane in that regard. And I, like you, am certainly giving Sean a much better shot than the odds makers seem to be.
What are the odds makers giving him?
See, now you're putting me on the spot. I want to say, last time I looked, Chimaev was like minus 400.
Wow. No, I'm not giving him that much.
I know. And Sean was like plus 3 something. Don't quote me on that, ladies and gentlemen. Look him up for yourself. All right. We have some questions to get to from our fans. So I've got a handful of them here, so we won't spend too much time on each of them. But Brian J. Shaw, 85, how much extra security is going to be needed to keep these guys apart come fight week? A lot, Brian. A lot.
Yeah, I would anticipate them having extra security, just extra things in play, keeping people away from each other. But at the same time, you got to allow some of it because that's part of the allure of what's going to make people watch. But just, but more security, even having more security is kind of part of the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. They should get the National Guard, get some dogs.
Yeah, some dogs. Some people with, just
call SEAL Team 6, see if they're busy. Yeah, hey, guys.
That's always a lot of fun. But I do think there'll be some extra security, and rightfully so, because when you're dealing with people in our industry, unpredictable.
Yeah, they are.
And they don't. A lot of us don't have much to lose.
Prize fighters. Yeah. Andy H863 says, if Sean can stop the takedown, how much will Sean's cardio play a role in a potential win?
Well, again, it's all. I can't stress it enough that the way we use the term cardio is not as black and white as the way we use it. It's not
Yeah.
just like this thing that you have or you don't have. It is all. It's again. It's relative to how hard you're working and how comfortable you are. And if it's easy for him to stop the takedowns, he lasts. If it's difficult for him to stop the takedowns,
Hmm.
he's going to be tired. So at the end of the day, it's not a matter of him having cardio or not. It's a matter of him being able to stop the takedowns without exerting a lot of energy. And that's going to require him to have technique and different techniques of stopping things, because if one way doesn't work, you can't force it. That's how you get tired. You got to have another way. So it's a matter of how much homework he's done in stopping these takedowns and
Yeah.
getting up as well.
And the ability to make Khamzat work
Yeah.
early and not
Yeah.
just lay there like DDP did. Willie McEaron, who suffers more from a loss career-wise?
I mean, that's easy. Hamzat.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean has that staying ability in that, you know, people find him magnetic enough where, and especially if you lose to a guy who's the champion and undefeated, like, all right, you know, he's going to stick around the top. But yeah, Chimaev to become not so undefeated, losing the belt, definitely Chimaev.
Yeah, Chimaev, I think he's the only one really with something to lose here. Like, if Sean loses, he's an underdog anyway. He's not really supposed to beat Chimaev.
Mhm.
Like, Chimaev is the best middleweight on the planet. He's ranked 3 in the pound for pound list. Sean shouldn't beat him. And then, and if Sean loses, he'll just revert back to being like, well, I'm white trash anyway. I wasn't so, like he'll just, and we'll go, yeah, Sean, we get it, man. We feel sorry for you.
Sophia G. House, I love Sophia. Hi, Sophia. Is Strickland one of the toughest stylistic tests for Khamzat?
I think he is the toughest stylistic test for
Do you?
Hamzat in the division right now,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I think that he's going to be the toughest stylistic test if he fights to his potential anyway.
Yeah.
If he's able to do what he does in training and lives up to the reputation that he has in the gym, he's the toughest stylistic test for Hamzat.
Fretwood Max says, are we going to get true fireworks or will all the hype lead to a dud? I think we're going to get fireworks. I think it also depends on your definition of a dud, but I like watching grappling, so.
I think this comes down to Sean Strickland. How prepared Sean Strickland is, because we know what Hamzat's going to do. Hamzat's just trying to win, and he's going to compete. He's not looking to fight at times. At times, he's not looking to fight. He's looking to compete. You have to force him to fight. And if Sean can't force him to fight, he's going to compete, and it's going to be a dud.
All right, Walksmith under, I can't read this one. Walksmith under 3, whatever. Who would y'all rather take on in the octagon?
Between who?
Between Sean and Hamzat.
Between Sean. Laura, you want to go on this?
Okay, if I was a 200 and some pound man cutting down to 185, I was never a very good striker. Whose skill set do I have? My own? Because if it's my own skill set, I'm screwed either way. Maybe, I was a grappler. I'm pretty good off my back, so maybe Hamzat, I could pull out some sort of weird go-go plata. Go-go plata to a weird necktie. That'd be about my only hope. How about you?
Strickland for sure. With
Yeah.
the way my skill set was, like, I would have been able to box with Strickland. I would have, in my prime. Now, guys, in my prime. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about in my prime.
What
In my
year?
prime.
What year are we
If
in?
we were talking 2004 Dean Thomas, I would have outboxed Sean Strickland.
I was a junior in college. I was going to basement parties.
So
And Dean was out there whooping people's ass.
I would have 2004 Dean Thomas would have outboxed Sean Strickland, and I'm going to tell you, I'll give you this. I used to work with Howard Davis Jr. His son Dia Davis is the coach at American Top. Howard Davis Jr., 1976 Olympic gold medalist. Him and Shannon Briggs were going to train me. They wanted me to stop MMA to just box.
Really?
Yeah, to just box so that I could get a fight with De La Hoya. They were going to groom me to get a fight with De La Hoya to make $1
Okay.
million and just stop. But and then just quit with that. I was like, nah, man, I like him. I like doing jujitsu too much, so I didn't want to do it.
Can you imagine what a pivotal moment that was?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to do it though. I liked MMA too much. So
Yeah,
2004 Dean Thomas, I think I would have outboxed Sean Strickland. So I would have fought Sean Strickland. I would have rather have fought Sean Strickland.
I love it. 2004, Laura was having fun in college,
Yeah.
drinking and
I can imagine what you was doing in college. Can't even talk about that on air.
remember that weigh-in show where you're like, you were thoughting it up.
Yeah. you was a straight thought.
I was not a thought. Thank you very much. I was a good girl and I made great grades.
I
I
hear
did
you.
have some fun. All right, guys, we appreciate you watching as always. Click like, click subscribe, check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and we will see you next time.